Hello, in this video we will talk about the world building, how to set the stage for your fiction, how to build your story world. Crafting a compelling story world for your novel is an important part of writing an interesting story. The story world or setting is one of the important elements upon which a novel is built. It's more than just a backdrop. It's a living, breathing entity that shapes characters, drives a plot, and evokes emotions. A well-crafted setting immerses readers in a fully realized world, providing a rich context for the narrative. It's a cornerstone of compelling fiction that demands careful construction and attention to detail. The building blocks of your storyboard. Your storyboard is a multifaceted creation, encompassing far more than simply a backdrop. It's a complex ecosystem of interconnected elements that shape your narrative. At its core, your storyboard is your storyboard includes the cosmic canvas. This is the overarching universe of or world where your story unfolds. Is it Earth, a distant planet, or a realm of pure imagination? Geographical blueprint, the physical layout of your world, including its continents, countries, cities, and natural features. Consider the climate, terrain, and resources available. A tapestry of life. This includes the diverse races of humans, maybe other intelligent beings, as well as the flora and fauna that inhabit your world. Their characteristics, relationships, and roles in society are essential. Historical foundation. The past events, cultures, and civilizations that have shaped your world. This provides depth and context for your characters and plot. History also is one of the elements of making your world vulnerable and susceptible to conflict, which your story events may be built on this. Societal framework. The political, economic, religious, and social structures that govern your world. These elements influence your characters' motivations and also opportunities. These elements are also a source of conflicts that we need to have a compelling story. Cultural palette. The foods, drinks, and substances consumed by your world's inhabitants. These details can be used to create atmosphere, character, and also conflict. Communication and expression. The language spoken, the forms of entertainment enjoyed, and the societal norms around relationships and sexuality. These elements contribute to the world's unique identity. The amount of depth you need to go in using these characteristics in world building in your fiction depends on your story specific. Remember, these are just the foundation elements. A truly rich and immersive story world will be filled with countless nuances and details that bring life to it. If you write your story in a world you know well, but change with a bit of tweaks, your job is easier. If the story world of your fiction is for science and or fantasy fiction, you need to do a hard but satisfying job. The storyboard can be used as a story engine. The complexity of your storyboard can vary dramatically based on genre. While some stories can thrive in the familiar settings of our own world. Others demand entirely new and intricate universes. Regardless of the scale, a deep understanding of your story world is crucial. It is the scaffolding upon which your narrative is built. The laws of physics, the societal structures, the history. These elements collectively determine what kind of stories can be told and how. Constructed world is a fertile ground for uh, emotional resonance. Each story needs a main emotional drive to captivate the reader. It can be love, lust, fear, curiosity, and using these emotional drives depends on your storyboard and the genre you are writing in. The storyboard provides the context for your characters' journeys, their triumphs and failures, and the stakes they face. A compelling storyboard is often the catalyst for a truly unforgettable reading experience. In essence, the storyboard is more than just a backdrop. It's an active participant in the storytelling process that shapes the narrative and enriches the reader's experience. Some examples of storyboards to see a world of possibilities. The storyboard is the foundation upon which a narrative is built. It can be as vast as and complex as Middle Earth or as intimate as a single street. Here we review some examples to illustrate the range of possibilities. Tolkien's Middle Earth is a meticulously crafted world, replete with its own languages, history, and mythology. Tolkien's deep knowledge of linguistics and folklore allowed him to create a realm that feels both ancient and lived in. The diverse races, elves, dwarfs, hobbits, men, and orcs inhabit a world rich in geographical and cultural variations. George Martin's Westeros is another epic fantasy world, but with a darker, more grounded tone. Martin's world is politically complex, with a system of noble houses vying for power. The inclusion of magic, dragons, and White Walkers adds a layer of mythical wonder, while the realistic portrayal of violence and sexuality sets it apart. Wilbur Smith's Ancient Egypt is a historical fiction example where the author takes significant creative liberties, while the backdrop is undeniably Egypt. Smith's focus on adventure and romance often overshadows historical accuracy. Nevertheless, the world he creates is visually stunning and filled with exotic intrigue. Cain Potok's Hasidic Jewish neighborhood is a microcosm of a larger world by focusing on a specific community. Potok creates a rich tapestry of cultural and religious traditions. The story world, though confined geographically, is emotionally vast, exploring themes of faith, identity, and the complexities of family. J.K. Rowling's Magical England is a familiar world with a magical twist. By introducing the concept of wizardry, Rowling creates a parallel society that coexists with the mundane. This allows for exploration of both ordinary and extraordinary elements, making the world feel both familiar and fantastical. Dan Brown's conspiracy-laden Europe is a real-world setting infused with secret story. By weaving a complex web of religious symbolism and hidden codes, Brown creates a sense of intrigue and mystery. The familiar backdrop of iconic landmarks serves as a contrast to the extraordinary claims at the heart of the story. These examples demonstrate the diverse ways in which authors can construct story worlds, whether it's a completely invented realm or a reimagined version of our own world. The key is to create a space that is both believable and engaging. World building is an art. World building is the process of constructing an imaginary world. It's a cornerstone of speculative fiction, but it can also enrich realistic fiction by providing a deeper sense of place and time. Some elements of world building include consistency. A world must be internally consistent. The laws of physics, the social structure, and the magic system, if applicable, should all follow established rules. Depth. A rich world is filled with layers. Explore the history, culture, economy, and technology of your world. Sensory details. Engage the reader's senses. What does your world smell like? What sounds fill the air? What does the food taste like? Character integration. The world should influence the characters and vice versa. Characters should be products of their environment, and their actions should shape the world around them. Reader immersion. The ultimate goal is to transport the reader to your world. The more detailed and believable your world is, the deeper the reader's immersion. Some world building techniques. For example, mind mapping. Visualize connections between different elements of your world. Write backstory. Develop a detailed history for your world. Imagine geography. Create maps, consider climate, terrain, and natural resources. Think about culture. Develop languages, customs, traditions, and religions. Technology. Determine the level of technological advancement in your world. Magic system. Think about and write rules about a magic system if it is applicable to your story. Establish clear rules for magic in your story world. Character creation. Character building is another field in fiction writing, but in a story world building also you should try develop characters who are influenced by their world. World building is challenging. For example, you can be overwhelmed by detail. It's easy to get lost in the details. Focus on the details that matter most to your story first, and then go to more specific details. Inconsistent world building. Ensure that all elements of your world align. Lack of originality. Strive for uniqueness, but also consider how your world relates to existing genres and tropes for your specific novel and fiction you are writing.